Chapter 1. The eclipse groaned like a dying beast. High Scholar Veyra pressed her crystalline palm against the warship's corroded bulkhead, her facets refracting jagged light across the derelict corridor. Somewhere in the darkness, the black hole anchoring the silent expanse thrummed, a bass note vibrating in her quartz bones. "Movement!" Trell barked, his insectoid mandibles clicking. The cyborg leveled his plasma rifle at shadows. Bioluminescent spores drifted where his spotlight pierced the gloom. "Relax," said Gorvac, the hulking patron mercenary. His silicon carapace shoulders scraped the ceiling. "Just vent rats? This tomb's been dead for centuries." Lumen, her jellyfish-like tendrils glowing faint gold, floated past them. "Not dead, waiting." The Malari empath trailed fingers over a mural, humans in exosuits terraforming worlds. Her light dimmed. They knew this ship would be found. Veyra ignored the others, drawn to a sealed chamber marked Archive. Her creators at the Galactic Accord had sent her to salvage progenitor tech, but privately she hunted answers. Why do I dream of human cities? The Accord claimed her species, the kin, evolved on Kithera Prime. Yet her earliest memory was of a word, whispered in a dead tongue. Earthfall. The archive door resisted until Gorvac shattered its mechanism. Inside, frozen corpses floated, human scientists, their faces preserved in final screams. "Cheerful," Trell muttered. Veyra approached a terminal. Its screen flickered. DNA lock engaged. She hesitated, then pricked her finger. A drop of opalescent blood, too pale for a kin, splashed the console. The terminal sparked. "Access granted." "Scholar!" Lumen warned as data flooded the screen. Genetic codes, war logs, a star map labeled Nexus Core. Gorvac loomed behind Veyra. "Find anything useful?" She discreetly pocketed a neural chip from the terminal. "Just confirmation the progenitors wiped their own history. Let's go." As they retreated, the eclipse shuddered. Alarms wailed. "Black hole's gravity well!" Trell shouted. "Run!" They fled through buckling corridors. Lumen lagged, her glow guttering. Veyra grabbed her. "What's wrong?" "The radiation here, and it's not natural." Lumen coughed black ichor. "It's designed to kill intruders." The ship tore apart behind them. Gorvac blasted a path to their shuttle. As they launched, Veyra glimpsed the eclipse crumpling into the black hole, and for a heartbeat, a face flickered in the event horizon's light. Human, male, smiling. Veyra's stolen neural chip pulses in her pocket, whispering, "Find me." Chapter 2. Back on the Accord science vessel. Aurelia, Veyra inserted the neural chip into her quarters terminal. A hologram flared. A human woman in a lab coat, her form glitching. Designation EON. Eternal Overseer Network. State your authorization. Veyra leaned close. "I'm High Scholar Veyra of the Galactic Accord. We recovered you from the eclipse." Eon's eyes narrowed. "Irrelevant. My protocols bind me to human leadership. Where is Admiral Rourke?" "The progenitors vanished millennia ago. You're the last remnant." The AI froze. "Millennia?" Her voice fractured. "Then the accordances failed. The genetic corruption must already be—" She cut off. "Why do you bleed opal, kin?" Veyra hid her bandaged finger. "What corruption?" Eon's hologram stepped closer. "You discovered the archive. You know what they did." The terminal's data, human hands splicing DNA, crafting alien species in labs. Veyra's quartz skin chilled. "The progenitors, they made us?" "Not made." Eon's projection flickered to a starscape. "Perfected. Your Accord's noble species began as experiments. The Malari? Lumen's ancestors shimmered, slave laborers engineered to glow for their masters. The Petrons? Gorvac's people as living siege engines. Even your kin." Veyra's reflection warped in Eon's light, Crystalline, alien, artificial. Why tell me this? Because you're wrong. Eon's voice sharpened. Akin with human blood, an abomination the progenitors would have purged. Help me erase their sins and I'll spare your galaxy. The door hissed. Veyra shut off Eon just as Lumen entered, her bioluminescence dulled to rust red. The medics found something. She offered a scan, Lumen's cells unraveling. Progenitor radiation. It's rewriting me. Veyra gripped her desk. Eon knew. We'll find a cure. Don't. Lumen's tendrils brushed hers. I've seen the Accord's reports. Nova Dominion blockades are multiplying. They're not containing outbreaks. They're culling worlds. Whatever's coming. She winced, veins blackening. Don't let them choose who survives. In the silence, Eon's terminal blinked. Trell eavesdropped at the door, his rifle aimed at the chip. Chapter 3. You brought a progenitor plague aboard. Trell marched Veyra into the Aurelia's brig, Eon's chip in his claw. Lumen blocked his path. This is my doing. The radiation targeted me. Convenient. Trell's compound eyes gleamed. First the Malari empath bonds with the AI, now she's dying? You're both compromised. Gorvak leaned against the wall, arms crossed. The insects got a point. Stand down, Trell. Captain Riven, a hulking reptilian Tarkin, entered. The Accord wants that AI intact. It's lying to us, Trell spat. My hive was wiped out by machines following protocols. I'll burn this one before alarms blared. Proximity alert! On the view screen, 3 Nova Dominion cruisers materialized. Their hulls bore the Accord's insignia, crossed out in blood red. Hail them, Riven ordered. The comm crackled. Surrender the progenitor asset. Gorvak stiffened. Veyra faced him. You knew they'd come. The Petron lunged, not for her, but Trell. His silicon fist shattered the cyborg's rifle. Run! Chaos erupted. Nova boarders teleported into the bay. Gorvak carved through them, roaring, To the escape pods! Veyra grabbed Eon's chip. Lumen stumbled, her skin cracking like charred paper. Go, I'll slow them. No! Veyra dragged her. Eon can fix you. They fled as Nova troops flooded the bridge. In the pod bay, Gorvak shoved them into a vessel. The Nexus Core's coordinates? Find it before Dominion does. Trell glared. Why help us? Gorvak's comm buzzed. An encrypted message. Secure asset Eon. Dispose of witnesses. He smashed the screen. Let's say I'm reevaluating my contract. The pod launched as the Aurelia exploded. Veyra watched Nova ships harvest its wreckage. Why risk war with the Accord?
Eon's hologram flickered in her palm. They know the truth. The Dominion worships the progenitors as gods, but even gods can fall. Lumen coughed, her glow nearly extinguished. What did they do? Eon's projection showed the Nexus Core, a ringed station orbiting a dying star. The Harmony nodes were never gifts. They're filters, editing species to human ideals. The Dominion wants to finish the work. Trell snarled. And you? I am the scalpel, Eon said quietly. The Accord would use me to cut out humanity's sins, the Dominion to enforce them, but the blade, her eyes met Veyra's, can choose where to cut. The escape pod's nav system pinged, a message from the Eclipse's black hole, coordinates, and a voice. Hello, sister. Chapter 4. The escape pod shuddered as it neared the coordinates from the black hole. Veyra stared at the pulsar's glare, her crystalline facets reflecting the ghostly silhouette of a derelict station, obsidian spire, a progenitor cloning facility fused to the event horizon's edge. A trap, Trell muttered, his cybernetic eye scanning for heat signatures. Dominion's probably waiting to pick us off. Lumen, her bioluminescence now a sickly gray, leaned against the viewport. Number the energy here. It's alive. Gorvak grunted, recalibrating the thrusters. Radiation's frying our systems. We've got 10 minutes before we're crushed. Eon's hologram flickered. This facility birthed the first human clones, including you, Veyra. The pod docked with a hiss. Inside, the air reeked of ozone and decay. Walls were lined with shattered stasis pods, their glass frosted with millennia-old ice. At the chamber's heart stood a single intact pod, its occupant blurred behind viscous fluid. Veyra approached, her reflection warping in the glass. The face inside sharpened, her own. "Not quite," said a voice. The pod slid open. A man stepped out, dripping amniotic fluid. His features mirrored Veyra's, but sharper, crueler. Draxus. "Hello, sister." He smiled, Nova Dominion insignia glinting on his uniform. "Took you long enough." Trell raised his rifle. "Dominion scum." Draxus flicked a finger. Trell's weapon disassembled midair, screws clattering to the floor. "Manners, insect. I've upgraded since the eclipse." He turned to Veyra. "You feel it, don't you? The code in our blood itching to fix this broken galaxy." Eon's hologram glitched violently. "Admiral Rourke's clone, you were decommissioned." "Because I questioned the lie." Draxus circled Veyra. "The progenitors didn't sacrifice themselves. They fled. Cowards abandoning their creations. But we—" He pressed a palm to her chest, where her hybrid heart thrummed. "We'll finish their work. No more mutations. No more chaos." Veyra recoiled. "By enslaving species? By elevating them." Draxus gestured, and the station's screens lit with Nova Dominion fleets orbiting fractured worlds. "The Harmony nodes will rewrite every genome to its pure form. No more luminas rotting from flawed DNA. No more Trells haunted by machine failures." Lumen collapsed, tendrils curling inward. Veyra caught her. The empath's skin was cold, cracking like dried clay. "She's deteriorating because the Malari were designed to die," Draxus said softly. "A failsafe for disobedient slaves. I can save her. Join me, and we'll cure every flaw together." Trell lunges at Draxus, but Gorvak tackles him, whispering, "Wait. We need his tech to save Lumen." Chapter 5. The team huddled in a crumbling lab, Draxus's offer hanging like poison. "We can't trust him," Trell snarled, reassembling his rifle with trembling claws. "He'll use the nodes to genocide my hive's survivors." Gorvak scrubbed blood from his silicon knuckles. "And if we say no, Lumen dies. Dominion blockades keep slaughtering worlds. Sometimes you pick the bad option to avoid the worst." Lumen convulsed on a med table, black veins spiderwebbing her neck. Eon hovered nearby, flickering. Draxus's cure would purge her mutations and her free will. She'd become a node herself. Veyra gripped Lumen's hand. "There's another way. The Eclipse's archive mentioned a failsafe, a gene key to disable the nodes." "Buried in the Nexus core," Eon confirmed, "but accessing it requires your hybrid DNA, and may kill you." Trell snorted. "So we either sell our souls to Draxus or gamble on a suicide run?" "There's a third option." Gorvak activated a holomap, Dominion fleet movements. "We fake allegiance, steal the cure en route to Nexus." Silence. Lumen rasped, "No. Lies. Draxus sees everything." Her tendril brushed Veyra's wrist, projecting an image. Draxus's mind, a labyrinth of code and screaming faces. "He's networked to every Dominion ship." Veyra stood. "We go to Nexus. Eon, can you mask our approach?" "Not without triggering Draxus's sensors, unless—" The AI hesitated. "We let him capture us. I'll feed him false data while you infiltrate the core."
Gorvak nodded. "I'll stay behind. Buy time if he gets suspicious." Trell glared. "Why?" The mercenary unclipped a dog tag, his brother's name etched beside Draxus's. "Family's complicated." Draxus's voice boomed through the walls. "Tick-tock, sister." Lumen's got an hour left. Chapter 6. The trap was elegant. Veyra surrendered at gunpoint while Eon flooded Draxus's systems with fabricated logs. "You're predictable," Draxus said as Nova troops shackled the team aboard his flagship. "But I'll humor you. Let's watch the galaxy's rebirth together." He led them to the bridge. Beyond the viewport, the Nexus core loomed, obsidian ring pulsing with crimson energy. Dominion ships fired nodes into planetary atmospheres, their trails etching the void with fire. "Behold," Draxus whispered. "Perfection." On screen, a Malari child's lesions vanished. Then her pupils dilated, blank as doll's eyes. Lumen wept. Draxus offered Veyra a neural interface. "Your turn. Merge with the core and we'll—" Veyra grabbed the interface and jammed it into his neck. Chaos erupted. Gorvak detonated hidden charges, severing the ship's power. Eon hijacked comms, blaring static across Dominion frequencies. "Go!" Gorvak roared, holding off Nova soldiers. Veyra and Trell fled to the hangar, Lumen cradled between them. A stolen shuttle awaited, Eon's code overriding its locks. As they launched, the Nexus Core's defenses awoke, 1,000 drones spiraling toward them. "The gene key requires a DNA sample," Eon said. "Extract it lethally." Veyra set coordinates for the core's heart. "Do it!" Trell aimed his rifle at her. "Wait." "Now, Trell!" A plasma bolt seared Veyra's shoulder. She screamed, blood sizzling on the console. Eon synthesized the key. Lumen's eyes flared gold. "I'll eat and deploy it." She seized the key drive, her body disintegrating into light. "No!" Veyra reached, but Lumen was already gone, her essence arcing toward the core. The Nexus exploded in a silent bloom of gold and black. Draxus's crippled flagship emerges from the debris, his face half melted. "You think this ends here? The nodes are seeds. They'll bloom without her." Chapter 7. The air tasted of charred lilies. Veyra knelt in the ruins of the node world, her crystalline fingers sifting through ash that had once been a city. Eon's code prickled behind her eyes now, a static hum that made shadows bleed at the edges. Too many ghosts, she thought. Too many voices. Trell crouched beside her, his cyborg claws carving furrows in the soil. No bodies, just dust. Gorvak kicked a collapsed archway, his silicon carapace grinding. "Nodes don't leave corpses. Turns living things into fuel." His voice was hollow. He hadn't met Veyra's gaze since Lumen's death. A whimper echoed from a hollowed-out reactor core. Veyra froze. "You hear that?" They found the boy curled beneath a slab of biometal, a Malari child, maybe 8 cycles old. His bioluminescent markings were faint silver streaks, his pupils swallowed by voids. "Stay back!" Trell raised his rifle, but Veyra stepped between them. The child clutched a shattered holodisk. "The song, it's still inside me." His voice rippled with layered whispers. "They're coming to finish the garden." Eon's presence surged in Veyra's mind. "He's a relay. Draxus's code regenerates through him." Gorvak loomed over the boy. "Mercy, then. Quick death." The child smiled, veins pulsing crimson. "Too late." Above, the sky shuddered. Dominion dropships descended like steel locusts. Chapter 8. The node awoke screaming. Veyra's team barricaded themselves in a collapsing archive as biometal tendrils erupted from the ground, knitting the facility back together. Trell's cybernetics sparked, his movements jerking as Eon's countermeasures warred with Draxus's code. "They're evolving," Veyra muttered, watching Dominion soldiers fuse with the node's machinery. Flesh and steel braiding into something hungry. Gorvak hurled a plasma grenade. "We need to retreat." "No." Veyra pressed her palm to the node's core, her hybrid blood sizzling against its surface. "Eon, show me the code." The AI flooded her mind with schematics, a fractal web connecting every active node. At its center pulsed Draxus's consciousness, distributed across the network. Trell grabbed her shoulder. "You're bleeding." Opalescent fluid dripped from Veyra's nose. "He's not cloning bodies anymore. He's becoming the system." The ground split. The node's core cracked open, revealing a vault of organs. Malari lungs, Petron hearts, kin neural clusters. Spare parts. Gorvak recoiled. They're farming us. A hologram flickered, Draxus's face stitched from static. You can't win, sister. Every node destroyed makes the other stronger. Adapt, survive, submit. Veyra shattered the core. The blast hurled them into choking darkness. When she woke, Trell was gone. Chapter 9. They found Trell in the reactor pit, his claws buried in the chest of a Dominion soldier. The man's face mirrored Trell's own. Another clone, Gorvak spat. Draxus's sick joke. Trell trembled, his rifle abandoned.